Now it's time for our main guest. She is a renowned dating coach and matchmaker. She's Tinder's resident dating expert. She also hosts the official Challenge podcast. Please give it up for Devyn Simone. She has helped countless singles find happy relationships. You all better listen up. I know some of you are tragic, and so we are very happy you're here. A lot of my friends are very excited.
Oh, well, I'm excited to be here, so thank you.
But before we get to the dating advice, which we will get to because we need it, I have to talk about, you were on The Real World Brooklyn, which, round of applause, you were part of reality TV show history, but I was obsessed with this description that's on the IMDb page of who you are, and I have to read it because, honestly, I felt very seen. So, Devyn is described as a flirtatious diva who likes attention at clubs and on stage. She likes to juggle multiple suitors. She's a theater and music studies major at University of South Florida who hopes to work in the entertainment industry one day. So, I see myself in you. That is wonderful. But when you hear something like that, like, what do you think about? Like, oh my God, I can't believe that's so long ago, I've changed so much, or...
I mean, if I'm keeping it real, it wasn't that wrong at the time. That was a long time ago, though. But yeah, but I'd say that was partially down to my dating research. Like I would say, I dated like a dumbass, so other people don't have to. So now, in my line of work, I'm not someone just speaking to what it means to date. Like I've actually done it. We've done it.
Well, that's the thing. What I love looking back at your history, because there's such a clear trajectory of where you began and where you are now. But on Real World, which I found like so profound as someone who loves television, is like your season was the first season in Brooklyn, only one in Brooklyn, the 3 New York cities at the time it was in there, 8 cast members, first transgender cast member. So what was it like being a part of this historic season at such a young age?
It's something I cherish. Now, I do regret the fact that I was so uptight, because I had just come off of doing pageants. I was so uptight on my Real World.
You were a pageant queen, yes.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, I feel like so much of my story wasn't actually told because I was overthinking. Like, I didn't say things that maybe I wanted to say or clap back at people that were getting on my nerves because I would think, oh, someone might be mad at this, so then I won't do it. And I've learned, who cares? But I will say, I cherish being a part of something so iconic. You know, last night, my husband and I were at the Tina Fey, Amy Poehler show.
I'm going next week.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
It's good? Okay, great.
It was amazing. Paul McCartney was there. Our seats were better. It was a great time. But what was cool is they show flash. They're talking about iconic things in the 90s and 2000s, not to give it away, but they sort of do a quick shout out of Real World a couple of times. And so it's really cool being a part of what arguably is the grandfather of reality shows, and so many shows we watch now have pieces of that, so I love that. But we all do dumb things when we're 20. I was the youngest one in the house. I was the youngest cast member they'd ever had. They upped the age limit.
Wait, that's iconic. That's legacy.
So here's a fun story. There became a new rule thanks to my cousin Kelly. So my cousin Kelly lived in New York, and she's, I'm really close with my cousins because I'm black, but also, like, that's just kind of my family dynamic. And she was older. She lived in New York and had for a while, and I didn't really know anyone else in New York. So when I got cast and we came to live in New York, she kind of took on the big sister role for me of like, I'll show you, the places to go, we'll hang out and all that stuff. So being excited, she came to our Real World house. Now mind you, we're blood related. She knows how old I am, okay? And I was 20 at the time that we were filming. Wow. She comes to the house and she brings all of the ingredients to make some fabulous caipirinhas. And so she comes into the house, and you have to get approval. There's all these rules of like, you have to get sign-offs to be allowed to come and all of that. So she comes, she makes us all cocktails in the house. It's probably one of the few times we all got along. We're drinking, and then about midway through, the whole house was participating, having drinks. I think for the producers, it kicked in. This bitch is underage, and she's in our house, and we got it on camera, and that is a big liability. So they made us put it in red cups, but then after that, like, no one else underage was ever cast on Real World, I'm pretty sure. Then no guests were allowed to bring alcohol to the house from that point. So I call it Kelly's rule. We spoke about it at my wedding. She was one of my bridesmaids. But yeah, it was definitely illegal, but it was a good time.
That is iconic, and again, legacy. But what's so funny you just said that you felt like you could have had better clapbacks, because in rewatching some of your best challenge moments, I'm sorry, can we play this one clip? Because it is so good.
When I did my first challenge, I didn't know what the hell I got myself into.
Prove to everybody that you're more than high heels. It is so hot, and my legs are burning. I am not made for this. This was not made for black people. When was the last time you saw a black lumberjack? Go ahead, I'll wait.
You got it! Wait, that's like video. I mean, so funny. Like, so when you're on that, do you just like let it fly by that point? You're like, we're having fun now.
I was just running my mouth and happy to be back in air conditioning because obviously when we record that piece of it, the hard stuff we've just been doing is done, and my God, that's miserable. They actually cut out of that when my castmate, while we're running miles in the desert in Turkey, holding these heavy-ass logs of puzzle pieces, we did win that daily, though. When we're doing that, she's like, prove to everyone you're more than high heels. My actual response in real time was, I'm not.
Yes, I know, I love it.
Because I was not feeling it in that moment. So by the time I came on the challenge, I had learned enough to just not be filtered. Who cares? People are gonna love you or they're going to hate you. Just be yourself authentically. It's far more fun, and then the people that love you do so for real reasons, and so I haven't stopped running my mouth ever since.
And you shouldn't. Before we leave the real world, I gotta check in. How's Brooklyn doing?
So Brooklyn is good. He's 15. He's had
15?
He is. That was him at our wedding. My husband insisted that he have a tux, so that was custom made from Italy for Brooklyn. And then he's holding the little bunny there because my mom still, you can see it says hot dog grandson. She realizes she's not getting grandchildren except for Brooklyn, so she sends him Valentine's Day and Easter gifts. He's wonderful. He's a cancer survivor. He is the sweetest little love bug ever. And I'm really hoping he makes it to 16 because
16.
My husband supports my crazy, and we are going to get him a little car, like an
yes!
electric car, like Super Kids, and we're going to drive him around. So I want him to make it. He's not going to love it, but we will. I want him to make it to 16 so we can give him the keys to a car.
We are rooting for Brooklyn. I want to see that. I cannot wait to see Brooklyn in the Sweet 16 car.